Today we're going to talk about going to your first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Welcome back, my friends, to BJJ Brick Q&A. Today we're talking about going to your first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class and what to expect. Let's get to the question. For a while I have wanted to start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I am a little nervous going for my first time. What could I expect my first day of class? Vince. Thank you, Vince, for the question. That is a big question, a lot going on there, and I know that we are all experiencing a little bit of nervousness and apprehension when you go to something like this, your first time. It could be crazy. You don't really know what to expect. So I'm going to hopefully walk you through a little bit of that today and make it a little bit easier and take some of the pressure you're putting on yourself off, because that's probably where a lot of the nervousness is coming from. First off, in Jiu-Jitsu, you are walking into a social environment, a social club. Everybody who's in there that's been there for a little while knows everybody else. And most of them are friends. It's basically a place where people go and hang out and socialize and learn Jiu-Jitsu. That is most Jiu-Jitsu clubs. Now, I don't know for sure about the gym you're going to go to or anything like that. So there are often different places, of course, that do things differently. But most Jiu-Jitsu gyms that I've been to, everybody is friends and they're there learning Jiu-Jitsu. So there's two aspects to it. The social, when you're walking into a group of friends that you don't really know any of them. Maybe you're lucky and you happen to have a friend in the class already that can introduce you. That would be great. And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. You'll get to know some friends. But another thing is you're walking into a place where they all want to learn the same thing and get better at Jiu-Jitsu. So those are two great things that you're going to find in Jiu-Jitsu: the social environment and the learning environment. And that's really the two big things that bring so much joy to Jiu-Jitsu to a lot of people who do it. You have to realize that this is your first class. It's not anybody else's first class unless they happen to be walking in their first day as well. So the techniques they're going to show you may not match up perfectly for a person on their first day. You're just there, participate the best you can in the class, and try to learn from that class. Unless they happen to have a first day or introductory class, you're probably be a bit overwhelmed by even the basic techniques they show. But let's break down a class. How most places do classes. Not that it's right or it's wrong or there's a good way and a bad way to do a class, but you can expect at the beginning of a class to do some warm-ups or some stretching, kind of get the blood flowing and get your body ready for some physical activity. A lot of people are coming in from off of work. They've been sitting down all day. It's good to get the blood moving. That's probably a third or less of the class time. Kind of in the middle of the class, you're going to find typically a technique portion. They might show one technique or three or four or who knows how many the instructor wants to show. But this is when you're going to be paired up with somebody and you're going to do these techniques. You'll all kind of get around in a circle or in a line and watch the instructor teach the technique, and you'll break, and hopefully they'll pair you up with somebody. If not, you'll have to introduce yourself to somebody, and you'll actually try to do these techniques the best you can. And the great thing is you have a training partner who has likely been there for more than one day and who is likely been there for years and can really help instruct you, give you some one-on-one coaching and guidance to walk you through these techniques. And this person, for your first day especially, will be a huge resource for you to learn the techniques and also some motivation to come back later on. After you do the techniques, most of the time, most classes will end in a sparring session. Now, in your first day, you may or may not be invited to or allowed to participate in this, and that might be up to the instructor. If you're not comfortable with that and you want to sit out and watch, they shouldn't have a problem. This isn't Fight Club where if it's your first day you have to fight. This should be a fun thing. And if they let you roll and you want to roll, feel free. We call sparring rolling. It's basically like wrestling, except we're trying to do submissions on each other and in a safe manner. And we're really not worried about pins either. So you probably have a general familiarization of what you expect during rolling. If you do get to roll, try to do some of the techniques you learned this day, your first day. Those techniques will be, it'll show that you're in here to learn and not in here to try to kill anybody and really just kind of prove yourself to them as an athlete. That's not what you're trying to do today. You're trying to learn. You're trying to get yourself folded into this group of friends that has let you come in. So showing that you're here to learn, you're here to do Jiu-Jitsu and meet some people, those are great things. And pretty much any gym I've ever been to With that attitude, you'll be good. If you want to go super hard and really try to smash on people and see if you could tap out a blue belt or the instructor or something like that, it's going to be a hard road for you because they're going to come back at you with some pretty good force. And people who have been doing jiu-jitsu are pretty good at jiu-jitsu. If you're new to jiu-jitsu, you're not good at jiu-jitsu. And that's okay to be not good at something when you first start out. If I were to play hockey today, I've never played hockey, I would be terrible at hockey. You have to learn the skill of playing hockey. Regardless of my size or my speed off the ice, I would not be good at hockey. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. The skill of doing jiu-jitsu has to be learned. You could be great at other martial arts, or you could be great at wrestling, or studied all the film you wanted to. But it's just like watching hockey. If you watch hockey, you're not going to be good at it until you play it, until you learn and you drill. That's what you're here to do. So I want you to have realistic expectations of your own abilities when you walk in and start to train. If you're new at jiu-jitsu, you're not going to be very good. So just expect that, and it's okay. You'll know now. Hopefully, you'll realize your training partners know that of you. They don't expect you to be very good. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have dumb questions your first day, your first month, your first year of class. This is the best time to ask these questions and just kind of open yourself up to that learning process. So, you may have experienced other martial arts and other things, or kind of had an idea of what to expect. Jiu-jitsu is fairly laid back. It's really not a super formal place to go at most locations. Some schools you might line up and bow at the beginning of class. Some schools you may not. Some schools may want you to be formal with the instructor. Some may not. And you'll kind of get the feel of that. A good idea would be to contact the instructor before you show up. That's always a good idea, not to just show up and be ready to train. Send them an email or a phone call and ask them what to expect. Ask them what you should bring. Ask them about the format of the class. Because if you know the format of the typical class, you'll be a lot less nervous during that class because okay, now we're going to do techniques. Okay, I know that. Now we're going to roll. He said I could roll if I want to, but I don't have to, or they don't let you roll the first week. It just takes a lot of pressure off of you, especially walking in that first day, which is a very difficult day to get into class. Also ask the instructor, whoever you get on the phone, what you need to bring. It's unlikely they'll require you to buy a gi, which is the cloth material that we wear while we train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Likely you can get away with wearing shorts and a t-shirt. If they require you to wear a gi, they might be able to provide one for you for that day until you kind of decide if this is for you or not, because it may not be. You may get in and have a miserable time. You may get in and love it. So to buy a big fancy gi before you even walk in is probably not the best plan. But they'll kind of give you some guidance about what to bring, what to expect. You might need to bring some water. Not all gyms have water fountains. Some flip-flops so you could walk around off the mat without having to get your feet dirty and then bring that back on the mat, where we're going to end up laying down and getting personal with the mat space. So we want to keep that mat very clean. That's one thing that is big with jiu-jitsu. We want to keep the mat clean. Show up clean. It's weird, but to shower before your workout isn't always a bad idea, especially if you had a long day and you've been working hard and sweaty and you're dirty. You could shower before you work out. Your training partners will appreciate that you don't smell bad as they're getting close to you and trying to do techniques with you. If you don't stink, that's a bonus. So you only have one first class, and this is going to be your first class. You can't pick the techniques. You can't just learn the 3 basic positions or the 5 basic submissions or anything like that. They're going to be showing something that they show the whole class. Just deal with that and know that in time you'll pick up all the stuff you need to and you'll fill in the holes. I want you to have one big goal during your first class. It's to make a friend. Making a friend that first class will make it so much easier to go back. The easy thing about making a friend in Jiu-Jitsu is during the technique portion, you're paired up with somebody. You're no longer in a group setting. You're paired up one-on-one with somebody. Hopefully you get a friendly person. Most people in Jiu-Jitsu are pretty friendly. So make that your friend. Get their name. Make sure you remember their name. Ask them, where they, how long they've been training. What they do off the mat. Their family. What they do for a job. Kind of get to know this person. Make a friend your first day. If the person isn't that friendly, make a friend. While you're getting a drink of water. Make a friend sometime. Get to know a few names. That way, when you go back, you could at least smile and say, "Hey, John, I'm back again. I made it back." Versus you walk into a big group of people who you don't know anybody. And the coach will hopefully be your friend someday, but make that friend a fellow student. They really help you out a ton in your progression in jiu-jitsu. You learn a lot from your fellow students. So make a friend. That's my biggest advice. If you don't learn any techniques and you make a good friend or two your first day, you'll definitely want to come back. If you learn a couple techniques and you feel like everybody hates you and you don't remember anybody's name and it was super awkward and you didn't have very much fun, it's hard to go back to a place that's not fun. It's hard to go back to a place that's not welcoming. So do your best to be somebody who is welcomed into the group. Have a smile, show up, be polite, have fun. Be the training partner that everybody thinks is a fun person versus a total badass that is going to be the butt kicker. That's not you. That's not you the first day for sure. You're new. This is first day of hockey. I don't know how to skate. I'm the guy who's asking, hey, are my skates on correctly? Is my belt tied correctly? Those questions. You know, they don't expect you to be good at jiu-jitsu your first day. You shouldn't either. Go in, make a friend or two. Try to, do your best to pay attention to the techniques, but they may or may not be, what's best for you first day. That's okay. I hope, Vince, that this has taken some pressure off of you. Just get in there and try it. If there are a couple different schools, you might shop around, and that's okay. You go into one, say hi to everybody, meet them, and then if there's another school that is also looks like it's reasonable and within range, check that out as well. You don't want to get too committed right away. It's okay to shop around. They probably will tell you where another school is. If not, just shop on Google and find the friendly school that knows good jiu-jitsu that you feel. It's hard to judge when you don't really know, but look online and try to find credentials and that sort of thing. But go in there, have a good time. Vince, I hope I've pushed you over the edge and got you to walk in that first day of class. It's going to be super exciting. It makes you nervous is also what makes things fun. So you only get one first day of class. Have fun with it. You'll remember it. Make some friends. If you enjoyed the video, appreciate it if you like it. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. We answer questions like this all the time. So we'll catch you guys next time. Stay sweaty, my friends.